Hi, everyone. Professor Minglu here again. My special guest is David Flores. David is a graduate of Santa Monica College and USC. He currently works as a tax supervisor for the accounting firm RSM. Prior to working in accounting, David served over 4 years with the United States Army and over 3 years with the California National Guard. David, first off, thank you so much for your service to our country, and thank you so much for coming to chat with me today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. To begin, can you tell my viewers a little bit more about your firm, RSM?
Oh, more certainly. So RSM is a professional services firm. While that may sound kind of ambiguous, there's a reason for that. RSM does a lot. Essentially, we have 3 main lines of services. We have the consulting side, the audit side, and the tax side, which is what I have been doing, right? And in that, RSM itself prides itself in being the leader in the middle market for middle market clients. Now, when you think about the middle market, I think a lot of people have the misconception of thinking that a middle market company tends to be a lot smaller. And while that may be the case, these middle market companies tend to be companies that have revenue ranging between 25 million all the way up to $1 billion a yearly revenue. So small isn't relatively to what obviously a bigger firm like Apple would compare to, right? And other than additionally, RSM does a lot. It's very big, and especially here in LA, it's a large firm. It's probably the number 5 or number 6 public accounting firm in the world. And it does a lot to just kind of help out its employees in every way possible. Obviously, being Hispanic, there are a bunch of Hispanic people here in LA. And there's a lot of different diverse groups and professional employee networks within the firm to really kind of help you, not only on, you to get adjusted to corporate America if you're not used to it, but also to just kind of give you exposure to all other cultures which are represented within the city that you're in.
Well, great. Thanks for sharing that information. I've had a number of former students who are either interning for RSM or working full-time for RSM. So they all mentioned great things about your firm.
Yeah, it's a great firm to work for.
All right. Well, the next thing I was going to ask, you're currently working as a tax supervisor at RSM. Can you share with my viewers what you do in that role?
Well, there are really a couple things that I do within that capacity as tax supervisor. The main one is obviously be a client server. I prepare tax returns, I review work papers, and at the end, I try to really help give the client advice on how to move forward on certain tax questions that they might have, how to properly set things up for them in order for them to have the most benefit in regards to whatever approach they're taking and however they're preparing their tax returns so they can provide to the government, right? So that's obviously the technical aspect of my job, helping out the client, being able to provide for them and advising them, being the first choice advisor for our clients within the middle market. The second thing I do is mentor. I know that you'll have some students in your own accounting class that might intern or even come work full time for RSM. Part of my responsibility as a supervisor is to be a mentor to them, to help them grow within the firm. At the end of the day, a firm like RSM prides itself in being a group of mentors to help each other grow. And that can't be done if you don't have people who have had the experience, who have been through the obstacles and seen how things get done effectively without people like us being able to go back and teach the people that have no experience, to help the young professionals grow in their own career and be able to help them surpass some of those obstacles that we've encountered just a little bit faster every time.
Now, I want to mention to my viewers that David is a very generous person. He volunteers a lot of his time to help students. And I actually first met David at a USC accounting conference to encourage more minority students to attend USC. So since then, he's actually helped me out quite a bit. David has actually come to my college to speak to students. And so again, he's done a lot of stuff. Now, David, would you mind sharing some of the things that you've been involved in the past to help students and the community as a whole?
Of course. I personally get involved in the same organizations that have essentially helped me out, right? You know, one of the common things that people always tell you is as you move on in your career and as you move on through life, make sure you take a step back to help those others who are coming up right behind you. So I personally get involved in a program called De La Cu. I was a recipient of one of their scholarships. They're very tailored to first generation college students within the East LA area. I happen to grow up in East Los Angeles myself, and because of their generous donations that they give out and their generous scholarships, I was able to fund some of my university studies with their support. And obviously, at the event in which you and I met, I also sit on the board of the Leventhal School of Accounting at USC. And as a board member, I do my best to try to help not only spread USC's name, but try to encourage students. And some of them were actually the students where I actually spoke at Santa Monica College, and encourage them to look at opportunities like attending USC. There's a big stigma, and part of what I described during this presentation, thinking that a school like USC may be just a little bit above the price range. But through my own personal experience, I try to bestow the knowledge that, you know what, the overall sticker price seems to be expensive, but the university itself is extremely generous, and especially with transfer students, which I was and which I'm assuming a lot of your students will be. And so from between De La Cu, USC, one other thing that I do is I'm heavily involved in recruiting. I love doing recruiting events because I feel that's one of the best ways for someone like myself to really help out the students and to help out the community. I particularly attend a lot of the non-targeted schools. So one of the schools that I often attend is Cal State LA. I'm not a graduate of Cal State LA. I've never taken a class there, but it is, and it does represent the community in which I grew up. And so part of my time that I spent there is to really just kind of help students. Okay, where are you at? What have you done? And how can I help you prepare for that interview? And so that's kind of how between those three avenues, that's how I budget my time to try to do my best to help out the community.